Hey guys, Jared here with a gamification video. With Smash Bros Ultimate's lifespan lasting 3 years since its initial release due to the DLC characters, it's made me wonder which one of those DLC characters has had the biggest impact. And a good way by telling that is by seeing which characters sold the most. But since we don't have access to that information, nor do I think Nintendo will ever publish individual DLC sell figures, we can only speculate who is likely to have sold the best and who maybe not sold that well. If you're new here, then be sure to subscribe and like the video. Just a simple like really helps out the channel, and well yeah, if you could subscribe, that, my goodness, that'd be amazing. So first things first, like I said, this is purely speculative. I don't have any sorts of official published information by Nintendo. I am just going off sort of a guessing game right now. And secondly, I'm not going to be including Piranha Plant on this list since he was a free DLC if you pre-ordered the game. So I don't really think it would be fair to try to pinpoint exactly where he would have placed on the sales charts against the other DLC characters. Now, how am I going to estimate where the characters place on the sales list? Well, it's a culmination of how much of an impact that individual character has within the gaming industry on a global basis before going into Smash, the timing of the DLC character's release, and even the fan engagement online throughout YouTube, Twitter, etc. For example, like when I publish videos on this very channel regarding new DLC characters, there were definitely some videos that did a lot better than other ones, thus being a good standpoint to see who audiences are more interested in buying. So starting off with Joker, as we all know, he was announced completely unexpectedly at the Game Awards, and the fact that Joker was the very first DLC character, you know, plays in his favour. I don't think Persona is by any means the most popular series on a global basis. I'm going to be completely honest, when Joker was announced for Smash, that was the very first time I'd ever heard of the series or the character. But, like I said, the fact that Joker was the very first DLC character, I'm sure he sold very, very well in comparison to the rest of the characters. Which is why I'm going to probably put Joker, like, I don't know, let's put him in the sold well. I don't think he's going to be in the big boy seller category, but I think he would have sold reasonably well. I mean, all these DLC characters sold very well, but I'm just saying it in comparison to what there's still to come. So next up is Hero, and well, I mean, we all know how big Dragon's Quest is. It's a lot more popular over in the East in comparison to the West, but I do still respect it as a series. However, Hero was announced at E3 alongside Banjo, and I do feel as if Banjo may have overshadowed Hero. And don't get me wrong, I do totally understand that maybe if I was an audience member in the East, I may be saying the complete opposite right now, saying that, oh, Hero would have overshadowed Banjo because no one in the East really knows who Banjo is. So when it comes to characters like this, it is so hard to predict where they would have placed on the sales figures, and these ones are the ones that I could be wildly off about. But I'm just going from what I know and from what I've seen online and sort of gauging audiences' interaction with the announcements. However, if you're a fan or not of Hero, there was something ever so slightly lackluster about his reveal. I think the trailer itself, let's be honest, wasn't the most exciting. He just rode in on a horse and jumped and yeah, hey, it's Hero. Secondly, there's this ever so slight disconnect from the player and the actual character, just because he's called Hero. It hasn't got a name, it's just Hero. Once again, it's just a bit lackluster. So, I think that Hero probably didn't sell quite as well as Joker did, which is why I'm going to put Hero down in the did alright category. I don't think he was a stinker by any stretch of the imagination, and you know, I'm willing to accept that I could be completely wrong on this, as I do understand how big Dragon's Quest is over in the East, but this is just my personal opinion. Obviously, like I said before, we're now moving on to Banjo, who I do think sold very well. He had a huge impact all over Twitter, all over YouTube. The announcement trailers got millions of views online, and yeah, he was a big deal. And not only was he a big deal, he was so asked for by the fans. The fans were craving to see Banjo-Kazooie in Smash Bros. So, well, for that reason, I'm obviously going to put Banjo-Kazooie in a big boy seller. I think he must have sold very, very well just because of the pre-hype. Like, you do not understand how many years people wanted to see Banjo in the game. How many, like, top 10 character, like, prediction videos Banjo was in before Smash Bros. Like, Ultimate was announced, you know? He was a big deal. Now, moving on to the next character being Terry. And this is once again really hard for me to pinpoint how Terry would have done, because Fatal Fury is huge in like South America. He's got a really big audience there, so they really could have got behind Terry and brought in all the sales from that part of the world, which I'm sure is a lot of people. But for the rest of the world, let's be honest, quite a few of us had to Google who Terry was exactly. Like, I recognised him. I think he was in a Marvel vs. Capcom game. So he like sort of rung a very tiny bell in the back of my mind. I was like, oh, I kind of recognise this guy. I've never played any of the games, but he's somewhat familiar. So I don't know, I don't think he would have sold as well as some of the other characters that I have previously mentioned on this list. Do I think he was a stinker? No, but he's definitely bordering it, so I'm just gonna put him behind Hero in the did alright category. And wrapping up Fighters Pass 1 is Byleth, and let's not have any conversations about this. This was a stinker. There's no way. I'm 100% positive Byleth sold the worst out of all the DLC characters. Nobody wanted a Fire Emblem character. Nobody wanted a Fire Emblem character to be the final character to be announced for this Fighters Pass. You know, like, yeah, don't get me wrong. I think Byleth's a fun character. They are way more unique than half of the Fire Emblem cast. But we didn't want to see another one. You cannot admit that you weren't ever so slightly disappointed that the potential final character to be added to Smash Bros was yet another Fire Emblem character. Yeah, we've all heard it before. There is no way Byleth rallied up so many people to produce loads of sales. I think Nintendo probably saw the sales figures that Byleth produced and learned from it and thought, yep, let's never do that again. Byleth getting stinker. So learning from their mistakes from Byleth moves us on to Min Min. Now, what Nintendo did, which I think was really clever, was they saw the audience's reaction to Byleth, which was, well, mainly negative, let's just say the least. And they gave us some sort of pre-warning for this next Fighters Pass, being like, okay guys, we know this first character kinda sucks, so let's just warn you now, it's an ARMS character. Now, ARMS did not do as well as Nintendo wanted it to do. Like, it didn't really, it kind of just came and went, and nobody really spoke about it afterwards. So Nintendo kind of had their arm twisted a bit in the sense that they had to give us some pre-warning, because if they opened this brand new Fighters Pass with a really stinky character like Min Min, like, I don't think many people would have bought the next, like, or bought the entire, like, Fighters Pass, you know? Because it was just a bit of a poor opening, let's be honest. For who was to come, this was a poor opening, let's be honest. So they did, like, manage people's expectations from the very get-go by telling us it was an ARMS character. But, you know, I still don't really think this would have produced many sales. Maybe the fact it was the first character for the Fighters Pass 2 maybe goes in its favour, but still, I'm gonna be putting Min Min in the stinker. Above Byleth, but still in the stinker. So next up is Steve, and, well, honestly, do I need to say any more? It's Steve from Minecraft. Whether you like Minecraft or not, you cannot deny the simple facts that Minecraft is the best-selling game of all time. This was, for the longest time, one of the most viewed videos on my channel. Steve definitely sold the best out of all the DLC characters. And if Nintendo do ever publish this information, I 100% guarantee you that Steve will be top of the list. Like, it will not surprise me that if we see, you know, any form of, like, Fortnite representation in the next Smash Bros game, judging by how well Steve done and how much of an impact Steve had across the world. It just rippled everywhere. You know, no matter where you are in the world, everyone knows what Minecraft is. So for Minecraft Steve to have been in Smash, yep, this definitely was the best-selling DLC character. So next up is Sephiroth, and Final Fantasy is huge. Once again, a huge global game. And all the way from the west to the east, it's global. You know, everyone knows what Final Fantasy is, and most people know what Final Fantasy VII is. It is by far the most popular installment of the Final Fantasy series, and Sephiroth being the main villain from that game, you know, it's going to bode very well as a DLC character. Nobody was expecting Sephiroth to be a DLC character in Smash Bros, but I'm pretty sure we were all very, very happy once we heard the Fallen Angel music playing and Sephiroth appearing, you know, in the sky. Sephiroth was definitely a big boy seller. Not quite as well as Steve, but definitely up there. Okay, now slightly falling from grace, we move on to Pyra and Mythra. Now, you know, Xenoblade isn't the most popular series ever made by Nintendo, we know this. And I think quite a lot of people's prejudgment on this character was, oh, it's another anime swords fighter, which, you know, I will try to defend. It really isn't that. I mean, it kind of is in some ways, but, like, you know, Xenoblade isn't the most popular thing. Like, aesthetically, they already look quite similar to a lot of characters that we already have in Smash Bros. Cough, Fire Emblem, cough, cough. You know, so do I think this all boded well for, in the terms of, like, DLC sales? Probably not. So I don't think, like, Pyra and Mythra may have sold as bad as Byleth. Maybe they just edged it on Min Min, I'm not too sure. Right now, I'm gonna put them just above Min Min, but yeah, still gonna be in the stinker category. Now, Kazuya is a funny one, because Tekken is such a huge series and has been for many a year, but I don't know, something about Kazuya, he definitely sold better than I think a majority of these places, but for me, I think he's very middle down the road. I don't think he absolutely broke the stock market by any means, but I don't think he sold awfully. I think he's got a very solid fan base behind him, but like Tekken's big, but let's be honest, it's not like the absolute biggest thing in the world. It's not like Final Fantasy level of big or anything like that, but it definitely is more popular than stuff like Xenoblade and especially ARMS. So I think he may have edged it just above maybe Hero and Terry and stuff. The fact that Joker was the first DLC character, I think, still bodes in his favour a lot. So I don't think Kazuya may have sold as well as Joker did, but don't know. I'm gonna put him just below Joker, but sort of I'm very fuzzy around this area of Terry, Hero, Kazuya. If these results ever did get officially published, I could see these characters switching places quite a lot. Potentially, anyway. And the final character to join Super Smash Bros. Ultimate as a DLC character is, of course, Sora. And like I said at the very start of this video, this is going to be very much dependent on how the character impacts the gaming industry on a global basis before coming into the game. And, well, Kingdom Hearts is a huge game all across the world. He is known in the West, he's known in the East, he's known, I think your grandmother probably knows, probably not your grandmother, but you know what I mean. Like, Kingdom Hearts is so big, and I think it was a perfect character to wrap up Smash Bros with. I think he's probably more popular than Sephiroth, maybe not quite as popular as Minecraft, just because they got the whole the kids fan base and the millions of people who play Minecraft. You know, I'm not sure that can be beaten, but if there's any other characters to do that or to challenge that, it's definitely Sora from Kingdom Hearts. So I'm gonna put Sora as the second best selling character, but you know, that's still very, very respectable. But what do you guys think of my list? Do you agree with where I've placed the characters, or do you disagree? And if you do, let me know sort of which characters you would switch around and who you would put as the best selling and who would you put as the worst selling. Be sure to let me know in the comment section below, and be sure to subscribe for all things Nintendo.